Just a look.
Deagle whispered. Sméagol slipped inside. The air smelled of dried grain and dust, and thin lines of sunlight cut through the cracks in the boards, striping the floor in pale gold. He stood still for a moment, listening, his breath shallow, but nothing stirred beyond the soft shifting of the building itself. Slowly, his shoulders loosened. His eyes adjusted quickly, faster than they should have, and shapes resolved into clarity: a coil of rope, a small iron hook, and a folded cloth bundle resting near the table. He crouched beside it, fingers already moving. Deagle coaxed him into opening it. Sméagol untied the knot. Inside were strips of dried meat, hard and salted. Food, real food. His stomach twisted sharply, reminding him how little he had actually eaten, and his hand moved almost without his permission. Deagle got his attention, always distracted from something whispering in his head, if it isn't the precious, it is other things around. None of this ever came to his mind.
Just take some, they have more.
Sméagol reached out, then paused as a faint sound brushed against his awareness. Footsteps, maybe, or just the wind shifting outside. His heart kicked hard against his ribs. Deagle urged softly for him to put the precious on, it helps him never be caught. Sméagol slid the ring onto his finger, and the world shifted at once. Sound dulled, as though wrapped in thick cloth, and the edges of the light dimmed while his own body felt thinner, less present, as if he were slipping between things rather than standing among them. The fear eased almost immediately. Deagle breathed in deeply next to him.
Yes, now you are careful, now you are safe.
Sméagol's hand moved again, quicker now, more certain, and he took 2 strips of meat. Before he could even think to hide them, they vanished from his grasp, pulled away into the strange unseen space the ring held for him. He blinked in surprise, then let out a quiet, delighted breath as the realization settled. Deagle said warmly.
No dropping. No fumbling.
Sméagol reached for more. The door creaked. He froze instantly, every muscle locking in place as a shadow stretched across the floor. Someone stepped into the doorway, muttering under his breath, and Sméagol reacted without thinking, slipping sideways into the darker corner behind a stack of sacks. The man moved further inside, his attention drawn immediately to the opened bundle on the table. Sméagol could see him clearly, too clearly. Every shift of his weight, every small movement of his hands as he frowned and reached down.
Stay still, he cannot see you. You'll learn how faces change if they catch you, or how some will stop and listen. It is really hard to find you if things work out.
Deagle whispered. The man touched the meat, counting by instinct, his confusion growing.
Thought I tied that.
He muttered, scratching at his head as he looked around. A tight, sharp knot formed in Sméagol's chest. He noticed. He was going to notice. The ring pulsed faintly. Deagle gave Sméagol that look, the one that makes him wonder if he should do something violent. He murmured, softer now.
You know, you could make him stop noticing.
Sméagol's eyes flicked upward, giving him that look that wordlessly asks if the other is kooky. Deagle said.
Just a little push. You are stronger now. Do it right and he won't get back up. His things will just be missing, no one will know.
The parchment shimmered with a new possibility, but the chance was low. Too low. And Sméagol hesitated, caught between fear and something darker pressing at the edges of his thoughts. Then his foot shifted slightly against the floor. A tiny sound. The man's head snapped up.
Who's there?
Their eyes almost met, at least they would, if Sméagol wasn't cheating, and impossible to be seen. The ring pulsed harder, and the world seemed to narrow around that single moment.
Now.
Deagle pressed. Sméagol lunged. There was no grace in it, no plan, only sudden movement. His hands struck the man's chest, shoving hard enough to send him stumbling backward into the table, which tipped and crashed to the side. The bundle spilled open, meat scattering across the floor as the man shouted in shock and swung blindly. His arm connected with Sméagol's shoulder, and pain flared hot and sharp. Sméagol hissed, something inside him snapping loose as instinct took over. His hand found the iron hook on the ground, fingers closing around it without thought, and he struck. The sound was dull and wet, and the man choked as he collapsed, clutching at his arm where the hook had torn through flesh. Blood spread quickly across the man's sleeve. Sméagol stumbled back, staring in horror. For a moment, the world went silent. Then Deagle spoke, soft and pleased.
Go. I'll help him.
Sméagol's breath came in short, panicked bursts, as he stared at the man, who was still moving, still groaning, curled around the injury.
He didn't.
You protected yourself. He would have hurt you. Go. I will make him better.
Deagle said gently. Sméagol wasn't sure if he believed him, but he trusted him. Voices would come soon from nearby. They always did. Sméagol ran. When he burst back into the sunlight, it struck him like a blow, bright and overwhelming after the dimness inside. He tore the ring from his finger, and the world snapped back into full sound and color, harsh and real. His hands shook as he stared at them, clean, no blood, and somewhere behind him, faint voices were already rising. The hook was gone. Stored, hidden, safe.
I didn't mean to.
You did what you needed, and you did it good.
Deagle replied calmly, coming from behind him. The parchment flickered again, offering quiet approval, but Sméagol barely saw it. His breathing slowly steadied as the panic ebbed, replaced by something else, something quieter, deeper. The man wasn't dead, just hurt? That was different. That was fine. The ring warmed faintly in his palm.
Everything is fine, the guy is fine, we are fine, and you have more food.
Deagle whispered. Sméagol closed his fingers around the precious, and as the voices in the distance grew louder, he turned and walked, not ran, back toward home.